Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy Roberts. I'm a learning specialist here at the University of Mississippi with the Center for Student Success and first year experience with our academic support branch. And I wanted to go over some study skills that we use in our classes that are beneficial to our students. So, wanted to share them with everybody else to make sure that we know what we're doing when it comes time to studying, since we're moving into more of an online world of our education at this current moment. So we put together a PowerPoint that we share with a lot of our classes that we do some interaction with, and some different study skills that we actually do use in our classes that have proven to be beneficial to our students. So I just wanted to jump on and share some of that information with everybody else and see what questions people had and what we could do to help other people in the education world with some studying. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is 4 study skills. We have 4 basic study skills that we work with our students, and we're going to go through each of those. But then we're also going to be putting together some web series with some videos that actually go into more detail of each of those actual study skills from some of our graduate assistants here in academic support. So one of the first questions that we ask is, how do you study? Working at the University of Mississippi, I work with a lot of freshmen who are fresh from high school. Many of them have said, I didn't have to study in high school, but I'm finding it more of a challenge now at the university where I'm having to study. So I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. A lot of times in high school, they were given a chapter, a test, a chapter, a test. Well, we know at the university or in any higher education standing, for the most part, they're having several chapters on a test where they're not able to have chapter test, chapter test. They're having chapter, chapter, chapter test. And a lot of students don't know how to take in that information to actually go about studying. So what we want to do is we want to be able to help them with that information and show them that studying is important, but there's also a way to actually go about doing it. You can't cram it in one night. Studies have shown that you only retain the beginning and the end, you retain nothing in the middle. Your brain's a muscle. It needs time to relax and to understand what's going on, just like everything else. And my view on studying is just like with eating. You have to break it into chunks. Most of us don't pick up a steak off the table or off our plate and just start going at it. We have to cut it into pieces. So studying is the same exact way. You have to take your studying and break it into different chunks over time to help yourself with actually reviewing the material. You can't just read over the book and think you have everything. You need to incorporate your notes from class. You need to incorporate the book, different articles, some type of study technique, which is what we're going to talk about, and be active in the process of what you're doing. So here's a fun little picture that I found when putting this together. It was around Halloween, so Hocus Pocus is a very big movie that a lot of us like to watch. Hocus Pocus, let's keep focus. A lot of people, whenever they're studying, they go in and they're like, okay, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get some studying done. And then go into it and it kind of just doesn't turn out the way we want it to. So what we want to do is we want to actually focus on what we're doing and let our brain acclimate to what we're doing, have the material in our space, and actually get to work and do what we need to do instead of just zoning out. So first thing we talk about is time management and organization, which we have a whole nother presentation specifically on time management that we'll do, that we'll upload to YouTube for people to understand how and why time management is important. So some things that you want to remember, you want to set aside time for studying. You can't just say, okay, it's 5 o'clock, I've got a test tomorrow at 8 a.m., I'm going to go ahead and study. You need to set up a schedule that's going to allow yourself to do that. So are you more of a morning person? Are you more of an afternoon person? Are you more of a night person? Those things are going to help you better understand when you should be studying. So if you get a lot more work done in the afternoon after lunch, have lunch, let's start studying. Have everything you need to get ready for studying. So if you're studying at the library, have your notes, your book, your computer, pen, paper, index cards, if you're going to use flashcards, any kind of highlighters, any kind of tabs. Basically have yourself a little mini treasure chest of studying material that you can get everything together in. Then you can go about putting yourself in the zone and getting ready to study. One thing that we do want to do when we're studying, though, is minimize our distractions. And our number one distraction for most people is our phone. So definitely social media is something that we don't want to be on as we're studying, and we don't want to be on our phone. So putting your phone off to the side, let it sit, put it on the charger. It may need time for its brain to reacclimate to the different situations that it's going on with as well. So just put it over to the side, let it do what it's got to do, then go back to it when you're taking a break. That's fine. But if our phone's going off, we're not going to actually be focusing on what we're supposed to be doing. Same thing with finding a great place to study. Most of our rooms bring big distractions to us. A lot of people will say, you know, I'm going to go study in my room. Okay, well, what distractions do you have in there? You've got your TV, you've got your phone, you've got your bed, you've got the pile of clothes that's over in the corner that you should have done months ago to put them up. All of that becomes more of a need to do instead of the actual studying. So if you can avoid studying in your room, that's going to be good for you. If you can avoid studying in a place that has a lot of distractions, so if you want to study somewhere outside, like in a park, or if you want to study in a library, going to a quiet, more secluded place for you may be more beneficial than having all of your roommates around or all of your friends around, because we're not going to actually be focused and studying on what we're supposed to be doing. So those are some time management tips that we can help with during academic consultations, just to kind of see what are some things that some students are having some issues with that we can help with to get them back on track. Now, some studying, the 4 techniques that we use are index cards, a reading strategy, a mapping strategy, and a note-taking strategy. Oh, well, let's go back. So the note-taking strategy is one that many people use whenever they do index cards or note cards, which are great to use, but a lot of people just stop at one point. You stop at just the definitions. So one thing that we worked with our students on is knowing FAC, fact, application, and concept. So fact is your basic definition. Application and concept is what's going on, use an example of it, basically use it in a sentence. Draw a picture. What does it look like? If you can draw something, how does it connect the dots to everything else that you've got going on, instead of just the basic definition for vocabulary? Because most of our tests are not just vocabulary tests anymore. They want you to know what it means, but now you need to know how it works, what it goes into, details, more substance than just the basic information. Next, we have our reading strategies, which the big one that we use is SQ4R. So surveying the information is basically just skimming over, looking to see what the pieces are about. So if you take an article or a book chapter, read the introduction, read the headings, read the subhead, look at the pictures, look at anything that is not your traditional quote unquote black and white text. With this, you can get a basic understanding of the material. See how long the chapter is. See how long it's going to take you to read it, because that's one of the 4 R's, is actually reading the material. After you've done a skim over it, questions that you should be asking yourself as you're reading are who, what, when, where, how, why, which. Those basic questions, if you're able to answer them after the reading strategy is done, or after you've actually read the material, the better it's going to be for you to understand it. So what I tell my students when we're actually reading the material is read it paragraph by paragraph. Once you are done with that paragraph, go into recording, which actually gives you a sentence. Answer as many of the who, what, when, where, how, why, and which in that sentence as possible. Read it back to yourself, make sure it makes sense. And at the end, you should have a comprehensive list of, say you have 10 paragraphs, you've got 10 sentences. That's one way that this strategy helps you break the information down because it's then put into your own words. The next one is a concept map, which is basically my favorite reading or my favorite study strategy to begin with, because concept maps allow us to take a theme and turn it visual. I'm a visual learner. I like to see things. So with a theme or with a topic, you start with one and then you branch off and then see how many different things can connect to one another. With my English degree and background, what I tell people is, say you're writing a paper. This would be a perfect example of how to write an essay for a class that you're taking, or most of our classes in college, especially with English and history, they'll give you some idea of what a topic may be for a test, and then they want you to give back that information on a test. So if a teacher is already telling you, you may have these 4 topics, I'm only going to give you 2 of them. You need to know as much information about the 4 as you can. You can use a concept map to put the theme together, then branch everything out from it, connect the dots. And what I use for students in this topic is the main idea, and then the ones that surround it. Those are the actual sentences. Those are the paragraphs that you can use to build your essay. So this one right here is on Ole Miss. So Ole Miss is our topic. Athletics, networking, academics, and history would be our body paragraphs. And then each of the bubbles under those would be sentences that relate to it. So the University of Mississippi was founded in 1848. We've got a rich culture. We're a liberal arts-based flagship institution. Those are all sentences that I can use to tie in to talk about the University of Mississippi, talk about where Ole Miss got its name from, talk about academics, the different majors, the centers, the institutions, the type of faculty that we have here on campus, how we work with our alumni, especially in relation to athletics, student athletes with their majors and everything else. So you see how it starts to tie together and connect one another to what we're doing. And the last one that we have are Cornell notes. Cornell notes, again, the way that we use them are topic by topic. So what I tell my students is, you're in the process of studying information. You now want to put things together because you have a paper coming up or you have a test in your history class and they gave you an idea of what a topic may be. So now you can take that topic, put everything you know about that one topic on paper, label it at the top, put a date on it so you know what the date is for this exact test. Then on the sides, you can put your key terms, your dates, your places, your people, anything that jumps out at you about that specific topic. Then on the other side, you would actually put information about each of those. So it's kind of taking a flashcard and putting it on paper, is the way that I tell most of my students. Give me a key term, give me everything you can about that key term. Then go on to the next one. If we're talking about people, tell me everything you know about that person. Where are they from? What does it relate to? What did they do? Why are they important to go down on paper? Then at the end, at the bottom or on the back, wherever you want to, write at least a paragraph summary in your own words of the material. That's going to help you understand what's going on, and it's also going to take you, whenever you're going back to review the information, to that aha moment of, okay, I got it. Now I can tie this into this, and everything else starts to link together. So what we tell our students and how to study is break things into smaller chunks. Study for 20 to 30 minutes, take a 10-minute break. Study for 20 to 30 minutes, take a 10-minute break. Set a timer on your phone. to where it goes off during those times, and it allows you to actually get some material digesting in your system. Your brain needs time for that. What I do, or what I did whenever I was working on my master's, and I share this with my students all the time, is if I'm at my house in my office, I'll start a load of laundry. Let the laundry go in the washer, work on my paper, work on studying. Once it's done, that's when I'm taking my break to either go hang clothes up, switch things over to the dryer, take things out of the dryer, put them up, so on and so on. Then I go back to studying. Avoid studying in your room, avoid distractions as much as you can. Have everything you need to start studying. You have to start days in advance. You can't just wait to the last minute. If tutoring is available, use that. Study groups, self-testing, whiteboard checks, anything that you can to help you understand the material is going to be a benefit to you. Go to your instructor office hours. If those times don't meet up with your schedule, email your instructor and say, you know, I've got class at the time you have your office hours. Is there another time that we can meet? See what they say, go meet with them, go meet with your TA or your GA, whoever it may be. But before your exam, you should be reviewing the material because you've already studied it. So the night before, if we've studied everything for the past few days, past few weeks, when we're actually taking the time before the test to make sure we have our Scantron, we've got our blue book, we've got our pens, pencils, whatever we need for the actual test, we're just reviewing over the information instead of actually having to study the information because we've already studied it. Now, a lot of you may have questions which we'd be able to answer. One way that, or let's just, if you have questions, there's several ways that you can meet with us in the Academic Support Center here at Ole Miss. For online, we ask that you fill out a form. It comes directly to me. I farm that out to our people in office that will actually put things together. We can put together a Zoom meeting. We can put together a teleconference. Anything like that, you can give us a call. We can go over some things. But here's our contact information. So if you have questions, we're here to help you. Right now, if you go to our website, cssfye.olemiss.edu, and look at academic support, going down to the bottom of that page, there is a request form for you to fill out. Those are some things that you can do. You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of great study tools that we've put together. All of it is at Academic Sup with 2 P's for our handle. Those are some things. If you have questions and need help with stuff, we're here to help you. Emailing us, calling us, anything like that will get you to one of our staff members, graduate assistants, to kind of help you with some stuff. But I hope that this brief tutorial on 4 different study aids helps you with some stuff. And again, if you have questions, need help, we're here to help you. Just let us know. Have a good day.